friends, it's Day with Daisy Chains. Today we are going to be learning to make these super simple, beginner-friendly swirl earrings. I love these so much because really with this design, once you learn how to do it, you can make bracelets, you can make necklaces, anklets, whatever you want to do, and you can also make these earrings as long or as short as you want, and they're totally customizable with whatever color wire and whatever beads you want to use. So let's get into it. So for supplies, you're definitely going to need some pliers to work with. It's totally acceptable to start out with like a 3-in-1 plier set. That's definitely what I started with. They have like a little cutter here, a flat part, and then you also have like a round nose pliers. You can get these at pretty much any craft store. And if you're just doing this as a hobby, this is totally a good way to start. However, if you already have a bunch of pliers, or if you really just want to build a plier set, at minimum, you're going to need a pair of cutters. These are precision cutters, a pair of round nose pliers, and then optionally some flat pliers. These are tweezer nose pliers. You could also use chain nose pliers or like beading pliers. However, if you don't have those and you don't want to buy it, you can totally just use your round nose pliers. And super optionally, I will also be demonstrating a one-step looper, but I will also show you how to do these without the one-step looper as well. But again, these you can get at any craft store as well. And then we're going to need a hammer and something to hammer on. I, of course, am going to be using an actual chasing hammer. These are kind of rounded on the dome, so it kind of prevents nicks and scratches, and an actual hammering block. However, that is totally optional. Again, if you're just doing this as a hobby, I started out using like a little mini anvil that my dad had and a legitimate like construction hammer. So it's totally optional and you don't have to have the nicest stuff when you're just starting out. And then for actual supplies to make them, you're gonna need some wire. I'm gonna be using 18 gauge brass. You can definitely just use any sort of like coated copper craft wire from a craft store. Again, I would recommend at least 18 gauge, but you could also work with 16 gauge, which is going to be a little bit larger than 18 gauge, but you're going to want it to be nice and sturdy for these frames. And then we're going to need some beads. 8mm and 6mm are both really nice options. I'm going to be using a combination of both, so you can kind of see what both sizes looks like. This is golden thread jade that I'm going to be using today. And then since we are going to be making a pair of earrings, I'm going to be using some gold-plated earring hooks as well. Okay, so starting out, we want to cut our lengths of wire. I personally like to measure mine, but that's optional. I just like to do it to try and minimize waste as much as possible. If you do measure yours, I personally like to use about 5 inches per swirl, but you can also kind of adjust your preference. So you've got about 5 inches, and usually I just kind of measure the first one, and then I use that length of wire to just kind of measure the others. It doesn't have to be completely perfect. All right, so now we have 4 lengths of wire, and now we're gonna make our swirls. So this is where we're gonna want our round nose pliers. And so what you're gonna do is you're just gonna grab the end of the wire with those round nose pliers. You're gonna gently turn in. And you don't wanna turn it all the way closed. You kinda wanna leave like a little hook like this. And then we're gonna grab again, a little bit further back, and we're gonna gently turn around a little bit more. And I'll be honest, so I'm working with brass, which is harder than copper. If you're working with craft wire or copper, it's gonna be a lot softer and a lot easier to work with. And I have a lot of people that they're like, oh, well, how do you get your swirls so perfect? One, I don't really try to get my swirls completely perfect every time, particularly for something like this. I think it's fun when they're like a little bit asymmetrical or like a little different. And a big thing too is I do a lot of adjusting like this the whole time. So we're just gonna keep grabbing. And once I get the swirl a little bit bigger, I find that it's a little bit easier to like wrap the loose wire around the swirl. And then once I have like a little bit that I can grasp onto with my fingers, I'm just gonna like wrap that with my fingers, you know? We just kind of want like a nice loose swirl. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I can do some adjusting as needed to kind of get it to my liking. And just keep wrapping down. And I don't want to wrap all of this wire. I want to leave like a little bit of a tail. So I think that's kind of good. I'm gonna do some little tweaking. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. And this little bit of a tail, what I want to do, this is where a flat pair of pliers would come in handy, but you can definitely use your round nose if needed. But I'm going to kind of try to find a middle point here. I'm going to grip it pretty good, and then we're going to bend that tail straight up. So we want it to kind of look like that. And the reason we need this tail is because that's where we're going to add our bead right here, and then we'll turn that down into a loop. So let's go ahead and we're gonna make our other swirls. I'm gonna be doing a total of 4 swirls for these earrings, but if you're doing like a bracelet or a necklace, you can totally do more. So again, we're just gonna grip the end with our round nose pliers, and we're gonna twist down, but not all the way closed. We kind of want like more of a hook shape. And then we're gonna keep twisting. And adjust as needed as you go. Sorry, this is really hard to do underneath the camera. So I'm sorry, I keep kind of leaving frame and it might look a little bit wonkier than normal. I'm like kneeling behind the camera and trying my best to keep the work in frame, but this is definitely not my typical working conditions. And just gently roll that around. And of course, you can make these swirls as loose or as tight as you want. This is totally up to you. It's just how I'm doing them for this style. And 2, I will say once we hammer these as well, we'll probably have to do a little bit of tweaking again, because sometimes hammering it will kind of change the shape a little bit. It'll kind of move things out of place. So we will have to do a little bit more tweaking later. But again, I got a little bit more flat. I didn't mean to make that flat. We're pretty happy with that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and make my little tail up here. And so then we've got these, and they'll kind of go like this later. Cute. We'll keep going. All right, well, I'm gonna do the other 2 and we'll meet back in a second. All right, we are all finished with all of our little swirls, so it's time to get these hammered. Hammering is super important because not only does it add kind of like a stylistic flair to your pieces, but it also actually strengthens the work. So hammering and applying pressure to metal is called work hardening, so it's actually gonna make that metal stronger, and it's gonna make these frames hold their shape a lot better. So anytime you're doing anything structural, it's a really good idea to make sure to hammer your pieces. And I like to leave this little tail on so that we have something to hold on to, so we're not gonna hammer our fingers. And so we want it to be kind of flat like this. And I know that I mentioned earlier that you can totally hammer with just like a construction hammer or anything like that, but one important thing to keep in mind is that your metal will hold on to texture. So if you're hammering on a textured surface or with a textured hammer, it is gonna leave texture on your work. So that's just something to keep in mind, but you can also totally use it to your advantage as well. So that's why a lot of these hammers are going to come with like a ball peen end, like if you get a chasing hammer, which can be used to add a really, really cool texture to your work as well. So let's get the rest of these hammered, and then we're going to move on to the next step. And for reference, like this is hammered versus unhammered. So one, stylistically, it kind of looks a little bit nicer, but it's also gonna be a lot stronger. Alrighty, our pieces are all hammered, and you might notice as you're hammering that your swirl might change shape a little bit, but that is no big deal. We're just gonna readjust really quick and recenter our swirls if needed. While hammering will strengthen your work, it's not gonna strengthen it so much that like you can't like move the wire. So I'm just gonna try to recenter this swirl a little bit. Again, it does not have to be like completely 100% perfect, because that's the fun of handmade. I feel like it's gonna have those little unique little quirks about it, and that's what makes it so special. Alrighty, I think that's all pretty good. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add our beads and our loops. And one thing that I really like to keep in mind whenever I'm doing this and adding my beads and planning where I want my loops to go is I really like to have like kind of this alternating swirl pattern. I feel like it kind of gives it a more intentional look to it. So I don't want like all of my swirls like facing the same way like that, if that makes sense. I like to kind of have one facing one way and then the other facing the other way, and then do the other earrings on the other side the opposite. So then you kind of have like this alternating pattern. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our beads. So I am working with 6mm and 8mm golden thread jade. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my 8mm on the bottom swirl and my 6mm on the top swirl. But again, this is all style preferences. You can totally do this however you would like to do it. If you're working all with one size, it's totally up to you. So we're gonna go ahead and add our bead onto that little tail that we've got left. And I like to go ahead and map out my swirls like this so that I know how I need to do my loops, because we're gonna do our bottom loops looped backwards, and then our top swirls are gonna loop to the side to attach to our earring hooks, and that'll make sense in just a second. So first thing, if you are using a one-step looper, the way that that works, I want my loop to go back. So I'm gonna go to the side right here, and we're gonna pop it and get it as close to that bead as possible and clamp down. These are such nifty little tools, but one thing you wanna be careful with, particularly with like glass or crystal beads, sometimes if you get too close, it'll crack the bead. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna gently bend this back and then finish squeezing it shut. So then we kind of have this look right here, you see? And then we can always finish closing that loop with a pair of pliers. I just don't like to close it too tight because I've broken several beads like that. So this is what we're left with. And then on this top one, we're gonna use our smaller bead on that top one. I want the closure of the loop to be this way. So I'm gonna flip this way, because whichever way it bends, like that's the way that the closure is gonna go, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this one-step looper. And then again, once I'm about here, I'm gonna gently bend this back and then finish closing that loop. So then on this side, I now have one that's going back and one that's to the side. Now, if you don't have a one-step looper, that is no problem. We'll just use our round nose pliers instead. I'm just gonna grip the end of this one. This one's gonna be our top one, so I'm gonna be twisting it this way. I'm just bending it a smidge in the opposite direction from the way that I'm turning it, just so our loop ends up a little bit more straight. And we're just gonna grab the end with our round nose pliers, and we're gonna bend. And I'm just gonna do some slight adjusting here till we have something that looks a little bit like that. And now to assemble these together, what I'm gonna do is, since they're gonna be going like this, I'm gonna get this bottom one and we're just gonna loop it on to the top one. And now they're attached, just like that. And we're gonna do the same on the other side. And now we just add our earring hooks and we're done. And so I'm gonna be using my tweezer nose pliers, but you can definitely use your round nose if you don't have any flat nose pliers. And we wanna make sure that we have it hanging where the front is gonna be showing when the earring is in. The main reason for that is just so we have this back part where this closes on the back side of the earring. We don't want that on the front. And then we're gonna close it up. And so now maybe that'll make a little bit of sense why we want our loops going in different directions, like why we want the bottom one facing back and the front one facing forward. So there you have it, a very simple, beginner-friendly pair of earrings you can make. I'm sorry if this tutorial was a little chaotic. This is the first one that I've tried to film, and it's surprisingly very difficult trying to like keep things under the camera while you're filming. I'm so used to doing like the short form where I can just like chop it up and it doesn't really matter, but I was trying to make it where you could see what I was doing. But if you recreate these or make your own version, like I would love to see them. So like tag me on Instagram or TikTok or something like that at Daisy_chains. So I'll have everything linked below as well. So make sure to follow along if you want to see any other future tutorials or things like that, and drop in the comments what you'd like to see next. So thanks and see you later.